If I were asked what personality in my life has made the deepest impression on me, I would say the late William Randolph Hearst. I should explain that the impression was not always a pleasant one, although he had commendable qualities. It was the enigma of his personality that fascinated me. His boyishness, his shrewdness, his kindness, his ruthlessness, his immense power and wealth, and above all, his genuine naturalness. In worldly values, he was the freest man I've ever known. Those are the words of famous silent film star Charles Chaplin, a frequent guest of William Randolph Hearst. Hello, I'm Shari, and I'm a guide at Hearst Castle. Today, I'm going to shine a stage light on actor, producer, director, comedian Charles, as you might know, Charlie Chaplin. He was born in 1889 in London, England, and as a child, his story was much like something you'd read out of a Charles Dickens novel. He had to struggle to survive just to find food. He was in and out of workhouses, and this was true also as a young child actor. His father was an actor and died at an early age. His mother was in and out of mental institutions. Despite a difficult childhood, he became one of the most famous comedians of his time. Journalist and novelist Adela Rogers St. James at times referred to Charles Chaplin as a kind of personal jester of San Simeon. He would tell stories, play left-handed violin, recite Hamlet, as well as doing impersonations. Actress Colleen Moore, who was also a frequent guest of the castle, said, "Charles Chaplin was a great imitator. He would imitate the sounds of foreign languages, and the diplomats of other countries would strain their ears in bewilderment at hearing their own language and not understanding a word. Double talk in 20 languages." When young Charlie was 5 years old, his mother Hannah was singing in a music hall, which is what she did to earn money for the family. Hannah's voice failed her in mid-song, and the soldiers in the audience howled with laughter as they drove her from the stage. Young Charlie, was backstage, and the stage manager, who had seen him perform for his mother's friends, took him on stage. The audience roared in appreciation and began to toss money at young Charlie. He continued to sing his mother's repertoire. He danced and did several impersonations. This was a milestone for young Charlie. That night was his first appearance on stage and his mother's last. Charlie continued his career as a performer by joining a theater company that was touring America. Famous comedian Stan Laurel had vivid memories of crossing to the United States on a cattle boat with Charles Chaplin. Stan Laurel once said, "Out of all the endless rehearsals and performances came Charlie Chaplin, who was the most supple and precise comedian of our time." Charlie Chaplin describes how suddenly the tramp, who most people remember him by, was born. "I was in my street clothes and I had nothing to do, so I stood where the director could see me. 'We need some gags here,' he said, then turned to me. 'Put on a comedy makeup. Anything will do.' I had no idea what makeup to put on. I thought I would dress in baggy pants, big shoes, a cane, and a derby hat. Had no idea of the character. But the moment I was dressed, the clothes and the makeup made me feel the person he was, and behind the camera, they began to laugh." He starred in about 81 films, most of which were silent films, and most of these he was the writer and the director. He produced many films and was the music composer in a few as well. His last 5 films, however, were talking pictures. In 1940, one of his pictures was sound, The Great Dictator. Charlie directed it, produced it, scored it, and starred in this film, both playing the tramp and Hitler. Chaplin quotes himself as having said, "One doesn't have to be a Jew to be an anti-Nazi. All one has to be is a normal, decent human being. I should like to help everyone, if possible. Jew, Gentile, black men, white. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. In this world, there is room for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful. To make this life a wonderful adventure. Thank you, Mr. Chaplin, for these timeless words that are still as relevant today as ever. Thank you all for joining me today as we honor a great humanitarian and a major talent in so many areas, Charles Chaplin.